In this guide, you will learn 3 simple steps in order to track the enemy jungler. The first step to tracking the enemy jungler is spotting them. To spot the enemy jungler, you need wards. Then you get an option select, either you counter gank or counter jungle, or full clear. It depends on the enemy team and also the enemy jungler's whereabouts. Keep in mind that for this, priorities are also a thing, because you don't want to find yourself in a 1v2 that you can't win. Then you make the best out of the options and destroy the enemy jungler with them. Now let's get deeper into step 1, spotting the enemy. To spot the enemy, you of course need to place some vision. This is in the form of wards. Now here are a few things that you need to keep in mind when you want to ward as a jungler. The enemy jungler needs to be visible. You should have priority on your adjacent lanes, and you should press your lance or else you run through the enemy vision and will die to a 1v2 or even 1v3. Warding as a laner is pretty much the same, except that you don't have a lance in most cases, so you can't check if the enemy has vision on you or not. Now here are a few ward spots that you should keep in mind to track the enemy jungler. All of these are pretty common and also very effective. Let's start with a pretty common example, the early game. Darius is placing his wards near the raptors. The enemy team and our team is both placing their ward at the pixel brush. Now that the lane phase has started and both junglers have farmed some camps, we can see the enemy Olaf at the enemy raptors. Since he is currently at 8 CS, it is most likely that he is now going for a rep buff and then a top lane gank, since our Darius is kind of overextended in the enemy tower. This results in step 2. We want to counter gank, since our Darius is most likely way stronger than an early game Nasus we would have thought, and in a 2v2 we should be able to destroy these guys, so let's do that. Since counter ganks are very devastating and result in most likely both of the enemies being dead, we should now push the wave under the enemy's tower and then see if we can drop some additional wards in the enemy jungle, or even invade them and kill them again. However, if we currently have the Nasus in our team and he is overextended under the Darius tower and Olaf is trying to gank him, we should most likely ping our Nasus back and take the enemy's raptors if the enemy mid laner does not have priority or vision. This is because Darius and Olaf are of course way stronger than we are with Nasus and Volibear. Also, if the enemy mid laner has priority or vision on you, he will most likely kill you at raptors, so don't do that. In the next example, Olaf is once more getting spotted at raptors with 8 CS, which means he is of course taking the red buff and tries to gank topside. Since we are currently pathing towards bottom side and know that the pixel brush on the bot side river is warded, we can take a ganking route through the trabush and kill the enemy bottom laner. After killing the enemy lane, it's pretty much the same. Push the wave, try to invade or drop some wards, do a recall or farm your own jungle depending on how much gold you currently have and if you can afford your power spikes. Since I only used early game examples, here's a wrap up for the entire lane phase. Spot the enemy jungler by having deep vision in the jungle. Looking at the enemy's jungler CS, you can now see where he is currently pathing to. Now you should either counter gank, counter jungle like this video, or full clear your own jungle. If done correctly, the enemy jungler will most likely have a meltdown and the enemy team won't have a fun time at all. However, beware. Since the enemy jungler is of course able to do the exact same thing to you if he has the right vision, you will always be under his control. So if you don't have a lance as a jungler, you won't ever know if the enemy jungler is currently knowing your every step. For an example how tracking ties into a gank or a clearing guide for my favorite Yeti champ, you can click the links on the screen.